Hi everyone, and welcome to part 6 of our subject Finding a House in Korea. This is the last part of the course. And in today's part, we will discuss more about administrative things that we need to consider. Starting with some administration, and first will be the reporting. So we need to report our new address, whether if we rent a house or bought a house. We need to report it in 2 weeks' time. And we report it in our local neighborhood office. We don't need to go to immigration for that. If we do not report our new address, we might pay a fine for that. So keep that in mind. Another thing that I wanted to mention would be the deposit. So as we mentioned, the deposit is very important, especially when it comes to chonse. So this deposit can be anywhere between 50% to 90% of the house value, and it is temporarily in the hands of the house owner in case of any problem. So if we didn't pay the rent for 3 months, or if we left the house after the contract is finished and there is a huge problem with the house that we caused, or if something is broken, those kind of examples, at that time, the house owner will use the deposit money that we have and deduct some payment from that and return the rest. If everything is okay, we will get the deposit as is back to us. My tip for selling the house: if you want to sell the house, the easiest way to do it is through an agency. If you're selling the house to someone that you know, then you can do the process without an agency, but you will need a lawyer to do that. And the final tip that I wanted to cover is regarding the rent. So if you're paying a rent, the best way to do it is through your bank transfer, because in that case, you have the proof that you paid the rent. If you're paying the rent in cash, there is always the risk that you will not have a proof, and if there is a problem, you're not protected. Some other information that I wanted to share first is the locations. There is no one specific location that is the best. Each of us has their own preferences and their own idea of what locations they want to be in. However, there are popular locations such as university areas. We have Itaewon area, which is quite popular for non-Koreans, and the Gangnam area, which is the south of the river area, also quite popular among non-Koreans. Another thing that I wanted to mention is the consideration of furnished or not furnished house. So again, it's completely up to you and the furniture that you have or do not have. It's up to you. But one thing that I wanted to mention is if you are going into a furnished house, please either remember or write what belongs to the house and what belongs to you. So later on when you're moving, there will be no problems. And finally, a big tip from me to you is when you are not in Korea yet, I would not recommend to commit to a place in advance, because a lot of the times what you see online and what you see in real life is very, very different. So my suggestion to you is find a temporary place for a week or 2 or 1 month. And from that place, go ahead and look at houses and rooms that you want to maybe rent or maybe do some chonse. And after you see those rooms, you can commit to a property that you like. And a couple of extra things that we want to know. The rent fees are not calculated for tax purposes for non-Koreans. So even though we are paying the rent and the rent includes the tax, we cannot get this benefit when we're calculating the year-end tax return. So it will not be included. Contracts on a monthly basis are usually available around university areas. So you can go ahead and do 1 month contract, 2 months contract. If you need a house for a short time, if you're between houses, it can also be a good option. Another recommendation for me is to see as many houses as possible, and this is always good. So you will have a lot of things to compare and consider, and you can make the best choice for you. And with this, we finish this part and also finish this course. You can also check the course Housing Market in Korea to understand a little bit more about the market itself and real estate agencies. And another course that you can check is Moving a House and House Services. If you have any questions, let me know in the tab below. And you can see the different information that we mentioned here also in the board tab. I'll see you in the next course.